on to neutrals, which I believe we're just going to pick a couple that we think are powerful rather than going through a bunch of pack filler cards
Yeah.
for another hour and a half.
Yep.
Sweet.
Either of you haven't. Okay, I want to bring this one up. I actually really like Party Animal. It's 2 mana, 2/3 beast. Battle cry, give +1/+1 to a minion of each type in your hand. I think there's going to be a couple different, like, aggressive menagerie type decks. Paladin could be one. Maybe you can do something with Shaman. I don't know. I think this card is really cool, and I want to try this one out. But I love Menagerie and Battlegrounds, so I'm like, I want to do Menagerie and Standard. Let's go.
Nice.
Doesn't seem too bad. I really
I
like 4 mana Posic Audio Engineer. It's a legendary card. That Battlecry, you add 2/3/3 bots to your opponent's hand, and Death Rattle, you summon them for yourself. I don't think adding 3/3 bots to your opponent's hand is very relevant. They don't really want to play them because they cost 3 mana. But a 4 mana 5/4 that Death Rattle summons is 6/6 in stats seems absurdly good to me. So yeah, that seems pretty good. And maybe in like the Death Rattly decks, what if you play this with like the DK, spread the Death Rattles to other things? Like it gets pretty nutty pretty quick. So yeah, I like this card.
Yeah.
That's cool.
The it's also kind of cool. They did confirm too that if somehow there's like the bots get shuffled into your opponent's deck, and then this death rattle goes off, you will still pull those out of their deck and summon them for you. The only way you won't is if your opponent does actually play them and get them out of their hand.
Nice. And they're what, 3 mana 3/3s, right?
Yes.
It
Yeah.
probably shows it on the yeah 3 mana 3/3s.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
like
see.
solid card. Could be very good for some aggro decks. Just like after beating them down for the first few turns, drop this, and they don't have good counterplay because you'd force them to play the bots, and they can't even play both of the bots on the same turn that this comes down if you played it on curve.
Yep.
Pretty cool. There's a couple cards that I maybe would have really liked. Well, there are like 3 cards that I really liked as neutrals that I won't talk about, but just want to mention: Audio Amplifier, Photographer Fizzle, and Freebird, which I think are all really interesting. But the one that I think we need to talk about is Tony. Tony, King of Piracy. I must say I do not like this card. I do not like this card at all. It is one of my least favorite types of effects in the entire game. I hate this card. This card makes me want to quit playing Hearthstone. That's how bad I hate this card. Like,
Oh no.
all I want to do is play my cards from my deck, and this card doesn't let me do that. I hate him. Now, of course, there will be a lot of people who will love this card. To each their own. You might have your own like thing that you really enjoy. Um, I feel like this could easily be as high as like a 5, like a format defining card. If anything, this is the card that might make Warrior somewhat playable because of a combo many people have talked about. It's being mentioned in chat. Uh, Tony, Fires of Zinajari, and Steam Cleaner as an example. But I mean, do you even need to Steam Cleaner? Like, Fires of Zinajari is enough. The cards are terrible. They're like, you get all random 5 drops. It's not good. Like, and the important part is that you swap decks. Honestly, if you're playing Warrior and you play Tony, as long as you can do something to make it so that they can't give you your terrible deck back, you have the benefit of forcing your opponent now to play Warrior while you play a non-Warrior class that will probably beat with the Warrior cards. That's great. I don't know how much this card might see play in decks that aren't, or classes that aren't Warrior, because there's less of an ability to like utilize his effect to then disrupt their deck and make it terrible before they can just kill him and get their deck back. But yeah, he's a very unique, crazy kind of ability, and Warrior has a way to do it, a way to exploit it. and make it a win condition on its own.
Yeah, no, people will play this outside of a deck that they're like they want to main deck this. People play this in ETC, in an ETC band, kind of like they're doing right now with Theatar. That's how I envision
Right,
it,
yeah. Yeah, it could definitely be run inside of an ETC.
which I'm not going to be thrilled about either. No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
honestly, I just hate the mere fact that this card exists at all.
But at least you can kill this and then you'll swap back. The decks are only
Yes.
swapped while this is on the board.
Yes.
So I am glad for that, at least.
And that's why, honestly, it seems like Warrior is the class that uses this the best, because you can play this as a turn 7 with Fires of Zinajari and immediately transform their deck. And as long as you're also holding the Steam Cleaner that you put in your deck, that burns out their entire deck, and now they can only use their hand and board to beat you, which they can still probably reasonably easily do, right? Because you were playing Warrior, so you're probably very far behind on turn 7.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing with this is that if it's toxic and good, they just nerf it and then Warrior's more unplayable.
Yeah.
Yep.
Unlucky. Ay. Unlucky for Warrior. I think one Amalgam Band is pretty playable.
Yeah, true. That could be decent. I mean, if there is a Menagerie Warrior deck, it's definitely running one Amalgam Band.
Yeah. Maybe some other decks can take advantage of it. Potentially, but doesn't seem too bad. I haven't taken a really close look through the neutrals myself, so maybe there's some hidden gems in there, but those are the few that seem decent.
I think when we were talking Paladin, someone brought up Candle Raiser, a 4-mana 3/3 neutral minion that has Divine
Mhm.
Shield, and Finale gives adjacent minions Divine Shield, which could be pretty powerful in a Paladin deck.
Valid. Yeah, I like Freebird. It says charge on it. Smork. That with the paladin weapon,
Yep.
like you were mentioning.
Yeah.
Kinda popping.
And then, I mean, Audio Amplifier sets your max mana and hand size to 11. That's a major neutral for this set. I love the flavor of the Spinal Tap reference. Turn it up to 11.
Yeah, there's a 1 mana 2/1 mech. Next mech you play costs 1 less. I think that's really good. Really,
Yeah.
really good.
And
If
there's
mech decks are playable, that's like a key thing.
yeah,
I'm sorry, I have to bring up what Toasted Hazelnut said. Bring up the cowbell soloist and laugh at it. Yeah, soloist may be okay, but like this one, why? Just no. Why? I don't get it.
oh wow.
Like maybe in an aggressive deck,
Wow.
but like you want to have other minions, but like yeah,
Wow.
what is this?
That's real bad.
I'll just play Astalor instead.
I thought they said they were gonna stop making pack fillers. Yeah, okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Guess
Maybe
guess
this
that
is for
wasn't the
another
case.
mode, but sure isn't standard.
This is not good in any mode.
Yeah, I don't know.
God.
I think Photographer Fizzle's a really good, like, interesting neutral. It's a legendary.
Yeah.
And, like, snapshot of your hand and shuffle it into your deck so you can get extra, like, powerful payoff cards. Could work well with control decks, and some other decks just have really valuable things they want to keep drawing because they would have run more copies if they could. Like, that could be a very solid one.
It's like a
Yeah.
good version of the Ungoro Elise
Yes.
effect to like
Mhm.
shuffle the pack into your deck. But instead, you
yeah.
shuffle a snapshot.
Yep, it's
Like
a
the
2-mana
snapshot's a thing that you
spell.
have to play, right?
Yeah, it's a 2-mana spell, which is great though because then you can choose when you play that. So it's not like
Mhm.
you don't draw it and then all of a sudden you're like, oh crap, now my hand is full and I burned half of the things that I snapshotted. Like it just this is the spell that goes in your hand. You choose to play it, when you want to play it. Yeah, I think it's a really cool card. I will say the other one that I actually think is really great is Rowdy Fan. It's a 3-mana 1/5 Quillbore. Battlecry, choose a minion. It has +4 attack while this is alive. 5 health is pretty nice. And 3 mana, like this is going to go in a lot of aggressive decks, I think, especially in this 4-set meta.
Yeah, that could be good.
And there's one other very, like, interesting card, not a good card, but a very fun meme card potentially, which is Unpopular has been. Death Rattle summons a random 5-cost minion from the past. So you get all kinds of crazy, weird nonsense games that can happen because of that card. For instance, if you're if you're trying to go for a specific like Mark McKaysey weirdo type combo, right? You might be playing Rogue just so you have bounce effects, so you can summon a cube and then shadow step the cube, so that you can do weird stuff with cube. And be like, hey, look, cube actually got brought back. But yeah, this is an interesting one. It won't be good, but it will be funny.
Yes.
I'm gonna get Loatheb, and then I'm gonna Shadow Step it in my Rogue deck.
There you go.